was with Mr. Gundlach. I was white, and this was one of my better games that I'd played in the tournament. Um, Mike is 11-18, so he's lower on the rating system, but if you give him a chance, he will make you pay for not playing solid chess. He can be a strong opponent. And actually, in my first meeting, I believe I might have done this one of my first games I looked at. The first time I played him, I only got a draw because he played a London against me, and I didn't really know how to respond to it, and I struggled with it. And he had a pretty crazy attack, and I ended up kind of swindling a draw out of him the first time we met. So I'm playing my normal Botvinnik English, and he's playing this hippopotamus type of setup. It looks like hippopotamus teeth. That's why they call it a hippopotamus, I guess. You look at it like this. So I haven't. This is the first time I've ever seen this over the board, which I found to be extremely interesting. And I said, okay, so he's very non-committal to the board and to the middle. So I've got a really nice center. I've got everything I've wanted so far, and I even have ideas of potential, discoveries here if he's not careful. And if for some reason he ever puts a knight here, we can do some things. Can get tactical very quickly. But one of my plans is to, in a King's Indian Defense type of system, the idea is to trade off the light squared bishop or dark squared bishop. So I'm going for that, and he's kind of allowing it. And here I thought, oh, I have the ability to gain control of the dark squares. I thought, oh, I don't know if you guys see it, but that's a critical square. Like a really, it'd be great to put a knight right there, wouldn't it? So I said, well, all right. Now, I know this is kind of an artificial attack, and the idea was I figured that he would see this. And I figured that this would, new variation, and I figured this would happen. And now I've got the bishop pair, and I feel good. Now I can kind of go through the idea of, kind of blowing up the center and opening things up so my bishops will come to life. If he ever decides to push here like this, we're just going to probably drop back and go from there. So now I saw this type of situation and thought, oh, okay, well, if he wants to be very aggressive and open things up for me, I'm okay with that. A lot of times you don't want to push that pawn if you're going to trade off this bishop. So, but as you can see, he did not do that, and he also took care of this. So I said, well, I'm going to put the test to you, and let's see. And now I have forced him to make a concession, which is what I wanted. Now, if I take here and he takes here, whoops, I'm stuck because I can't take the pawn back, and he's now then attacking two pieces. So, but I got what I wanted. He made a concession by blocking in his dark squared bishop, and now, he's stuck. Positionally, that was not awesome. So I came back, and he went back. And here I said, okay, now it's time to trade off the dark squared bishops. And now I can get a knight into this wonderful square. Okay, and now I've positionally stifled his bishop. And yeah, I felt like this was really good. if he ever takes here, I can undouble my pawns, and I'm okay with that. So my positional training says to take control of the open squares and open files as you can. Idea being, if he does this, we're going to do no variation. I can take on Passant and attack 2 pieces. Whoops, sorry. So that's not going to happen. And same thing if he only played E6, or sorry, C6, but he was very clever about that and decided to block it. And I said, well, all right, it is time to gain control of the file by getting my rook here. And I know he's got this covered up, but we are really keeping the black pieces under control. He has no activity, he has no space, and he's stuck. There's not much that he can do. Yeah, it's very terrible, very terrible. And he's got no counterplay, so everything is in my, everything's in my court, and he has to unwind somehow. I don't know how he's going to, but that's his problem to deal with. So I feel like he's trying to get some activity here, and I thought, to be honest with you, I cannot remember why I played F3. I must have seen some sort of phantom ghost thing that I did not like. I think what I was... So in this position, you do have to be a little bit mindful and scared of F4. I thought this might have been his only try, disrupting my king side somehow. Now, especially if I choose not to deal with it, then he's got F3, and that gets really nasty fast. So in order to prevent that type of situation, I was playing this. I also thought about this type of situation as well that I wanted to prevent. So if he did come in here like that, I wanted to be able to meet it that way, or actually meet it by taking. Yeah, so I saw a way to get a good pawn break, and I thought for sure that he would take here, and I was going to be able to put my knight in that square and then get this great outpost that was just like a monster. But he was very clever and decided not to go for that, and I said, well, I'm going to take the pawn, because if he takes with the queen, I can go in anyways to either of these 2 squares, and then it's just going to get very difficult for him. But if he takes here, now I've got other threats with bringing this stuff in. And this bishop is still doing nothing, even if I push this pawn. This is just absolutely terrible for black. Just really difficult to deal with. The other thing that I thought about is either bringing my rook here or here, and yeah, I mean, all of this is coming. It's very tough. But he came here, and I thought, okay, now how do we want to handle this? So the move I made was knight to F4. I thought this was probably the best move. Reason being, I did this move instead of this move, because this was the other move I was considering. Because either move comes in... No, that's not what I want. Comes into here with forks. So, but I thought that I really didn't want him to be able to push this pawn, or he could take my pawn, and then I felt like maybe this was a little bit weaker, and I thought that this was better. Now, looking at it this way, I feel like this might have been a better move, because then I also had this as an option. The other thing that I had that I didn't have before is I had this as an option. Because if we go here, I really don't know, like, what does black do here? I don't know what they can do at all. And with the idea of my next move being here and then here. So he has to deal with the knight problem, the forking problem, right? So I really objectively don't know what the best move is here, but I'd like to say that it's probably that. Maybe I'm wrong. But then I want to do this, because now he is like just stuck. And where does he go? He can't come here because it's going to be met with that. Maybe I have to prepare it. Not sure. Oh yeah, you can't go there because you're going to get this. Yeah, it's just, this is terrible. This is all bad. And maybe this is the best move. I'll probably come in here anyways. Because now I also have this. Or this. Depending on what might be best. But yeah, those were the ideas. So I came in here. With the idea of, I thought this was better just for the fact that he can't push forward, and if he ever moves this rook, I then have this fork. So that was my plan and why I thought that was potentially better. So he was smart and decided to move his bishop to protect that square, because now I can't go in there. And I offered the queen trade, thinking, okay, well, I have this menacing attack. His pieces are all stuck, and I have a target, and he has none. He has to defend, and if he trades off, I'm much better. So I saw this as a I don't know what he does here. I'm playing that next, and this is a problem. He probably has to move his bishop somewhere. I don't know where he would move it, but he really only has two options, either here or here. I think that this one's probably better, so he can still protect this and this. So yeah, I'm going to come in here, he's going to come here, and I saw this as a potential deal, with the idea of bringing my knight into this square and him having a lot of problems to deal with. So, because once I come in here, now I have 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to win that pawn. I've broken through, and yeah, we're okay. That's what I saw. He didn't take it though, which I found to be extremely amazing. And I said, okay, well, I'll take the pawn, and I'll come back here and attack the pawn, because now you have to deal with that. And I'm going to lock down your pieces, so that bishop is still miserable. And here I found this clever move. I thought that was nice. So if he does nothing, I just win the pawn, and then we get a passed pawn, and there's nothing he can really do about it. So he took and took, and now I'm ganging up on that pawn, and here's another way. He took and took, and here, instead of doing that, I should have played here, and that would have essentially won the game, because there's no stopping any of this. No matter where he goes, I can push the pawn and then push the other one. So this would have been the end of the game. But I played it differently. I decided to have 2 permanent passed pawns instead. Thought this might have been a little bit stronger. I will admit at this point I was getting a little complacent with my play. Sometimes you feel like you're winning and you let off the gas. This was kind of that deal. And there's some more moves to deal with these, and I don't think he expected that move. Now he's got this pawn, and he made it difficult for me. And to be fair, I did not play the endgame amazing, but yeah, that was a mistake, and this is probably winning, still winning for white, but after that it's definitely winning for white. So and he decided he made me queen. Yeah, so I didn't mark all the moves. I stopped noting after that because there was no point. But it was pretty clinical. Yeah, I mean, if he comes here, I'm coming here. If he does anything else, I'm coming here, taking the pawn and moving forward. So that's essentially how it went. And yeah. But yeah, it was a good game. I felt like there were some improvements, most certainly on this part over here. So yeah, I think when he played here, I should have just taken the pawn, and that just would have been would have just won. Oh, undo. Yeah, so yeah, good game though. Mike played a strong game. He definitely, I have to give him props for taking it down to the end. At the end, he said to me that he thought, let's take a look because I can't remember. Nope, too far. All right. He said around this, at the end, after this point. So let's get to the point where that was move 56. I had 15 minutes left at this point, and he had 24. So he had 10 minutes on me, but I mean, this is a theoretical win, and he said to me that he thought that he could get me on time. Because there was a number of times that he missed hitting the clock, which I found to be kind of entertaining. But yeah, there was no danger of that. Like, this is a pretty textbook elementary win at this point. But yeah, good game though.